You're in.
He's in.
All right. Here we are.
That's good.
What? Zach said, just noticed somehow I was no longer subscribed to OT on YouTube.
Dang.
That's bizarre. I never unsubscribed.
That sounds like an excuse.
That's sus. All right. Welcome back to Form Reviewz. If you haven't been here before, welcome to Form Reviewz. What is up with this?
I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay.
Hey,
We're trying some.
attention to the chat. We're doubling up on the chat right now.
Oh my gosh.
I'll figure it out maybe.
He breaks the internet.
Oh, he's logged in. Well, quick, before you log out of this account, Zach, why don't you hit that subscribe button and then
Yeah.
log back into your other account.
43K, whatever this goal is.
Also, I want to know if Discord and the new videos thing, if it is gonna post this.
Oh, dude,
I don't know,
it
Grayson
it
posted
did.
it. I'm curious.
It did?
Yeah, it did.
Is it the Mikey AI bot?
It did.
It
Let's
is.
go!
Wow.
So just stop posting that information automatically go at everyone.
So every video is gonna go there.
But I'm saying like in the announcements, is it at everyone immediately, pretty much?
I don't know. This one just popped up, right?
It just popped up, but it's okay. We don't have to add everyone on everything, you know.
Plus, Grayson already added everyone.
You see Wes's response here.
Banned.
Banned.
Slash ban.
Hey, real quick, glitches on the shop. You only have until Monday to get these.
The color matches the border.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I will say there are none of those left.
Yeah, I did that intentionally. Probably not.
Don't plan on getting one of those.
So yeah, you only have until Monday, and then whatever's left is getting shipped off to Texas for a good purpose. Money.
Yeah. My favorite purpose.
But yeah, go ahead and snag these, and we've only got how many of these left on the shop?
54.
He's not looking at the disc I'm holding up.
Oh, 5.
5 of these.
You said these.
5 reactors left on the shop, and then that's it. And you know, this stamp isn't going to get run again because it says reactor on it, and we can't do that anymore. So this is it. This is a super limited, right? And it's just a great disc. Okay, but yeah, you've got until Monday to grab these things. This is Dakota's.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yep. Sweet. Let me snag.
Oh. Interesting. I'm going to keep that because it looks good.
Yep, that looks better than what was just up.
Looks better than
How about that? You just have to turn it off. You just have to turn it off.
Boom.
Just have...
Okay, if you're here and I've got your form, let me know. We are a disc golf page. We need y'all's support. Disc golf uncensored? I don't know if I want to support that, honestly. What does that even look like? I don't know that I want to know that answer. It seems a little risque for me. That's the sound of a. This stream sponsored by, however you say that. Le Croix. I should know. My vocal diction teacher would be killing me. French was the worst language. The absolute worst language. All right. I had this class where I had to learn how to speak and read Italian, French, and German all in the same class, and I had to write them out in phonetic alphabet. Anyways, I didn't even know what I was reading or speaking. I was just able to do it. And French was tough. Let's see here. Going with a little one step. Is this, for context here, is this approach shot or is this a drive? Like, how am I evaluating this? Because that is kind of two very different forms here. Approach shot. Okay, well, let's judge it as an approach shot, not a drive then. I gotta go to the special Simon Stiff. Here it is. All right. So this left hand, let's look left hand first. Just because it's not as important that we get super tight with the left arm, but we definitely don't want it like dragging out here on approach shots. Definitely not drives, but approach shots we don't want it dragging either. So notice kind of how compact. I'm going to give you kind of an overview because there's a lot of finesse that goes on with approach shots, but there are kind of some rules that I think we follow here. First, I think hand above wrist is very helpful. We can actually kind of keep this. He's keeping a little bit of separation from his body with his elbow here, right? But his elbow's down below his wrist, and he's got kind of this upward trajectory with it. He's got this kind of nose up, upward delivery. See how his disc moves in that direction. Whereas yours is kind of flat back here. Kind of go flat, and then maybe perhaps a touch up. And I think it's really easy to see on Katrina Allen. Well, it is really easy to see, not I think. Because she pulls that thing down like her left hip. And so it's this very kind of upward floating motion. It's super important to do that, I think, because it allows you to not have to control the speed quite as well as if you're just pooning it. Oh, was it Shopify? Tell me what it was. So that's kind of first thing. I also like wrist curl right off with this so that you only have this little out hit when you go. And it's not much. It's not like his wrist is like flared open like this. But you got a little bit of action with the wrist here. Upward motion. The posture, you can see that he's kind of hanging back with the body a bit here. Right, which you're doing well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like a crazy, you're not like with the wrist. It's just it's got a little bit of it. It doesn't take much. Yeah, but I would definitely try to get this left hand tighter. I'm gonna have to put headphones on. Yeah, other than that, I think you're basically on the right track. Also, I have no follow through. I did ask on the podcast, which I guess you didn't know it was podcast, but I did. We did discuss that topic on the upcoming podcast. The big thing is to make sure that you're not like popping this elbow out all the way. Let's see, like here. Once you lock this elbow and you have this kind of punch motion with the elbow here, if you get to this full extension, there's nowhere for the energy to go, right? So it's going to start pushing up here, and your elbow's not made to take that kind of force. So anytime we have motions where we straighten out the arm, even on drives, we don't see guys straighten out the arm all the way. Bro.
I know. We were just thinking we should probably leave.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like really thinking that, but just failed to commit to it yet. It's a lack of commitment.
Sorry about that.
It's like the louder you guys whispered. It's like way more distracting.
Started talking about Starfield, I got excited.
Sorry about that.
So, anyways. So this like punch here is an issue. So even on drives, they don't like fully extend. Like look here, watch his elbow. Right, there's not really a full extension into this hit here. It's not like a bah. Right, it's an arc. You have to let a follow through take away. So here his arm is straight, right? But it's after the hit. See, bent here, and then it's just staying that way afterwards. So we go hit, slightly bent, and now he's got all this motion here for his body to start slowing it down. The other thing that you see here, which is kind of nerdy, detaily, is after he hits here, you see him pronate because you get more range of motion on that. So, yeah, hit with your arm bent. Like, try that. Try hitting with your arm bent and see what happens. Right? There needs to be a hit and then a continual go. So, if you want to feel it, just go arm bent and then let it carry. Arm bent and never straighten out your arm. There's nothing that I can do to tell you. Like, there's no super helpful words that I can give you other that will like, oh, how do I visualize not straightening out my arm? It's like if you just gotta see it and you just gotta stare at your arm the whole time and it just needs to stay bent the whole time, do that. So yeah. Someone else said that they were here. Let me see this. Jalahud. Now let me see here. Yeah, you got to check your Discord. Mikey had a issue with your video. J-Lahood. So either you didn't give us permission to view your video, or you didn't send it with Google Drives. You sent it with like Google Photos or something weird. It's one of those two issues. I don't know which one. Okay, Mark Hansen. I got him. Mac. It's probably Mac Hansen, not Mock Hansen. You know. Cool. Mm. Are you able to stand up where you're at, Mac? What's up, Larry? Cool. So go through your walkthrough and get to this point here and tell me this point right here. And tell me where the pressure is at on your foot, on your right foot. Because this looks a little wide stance because this left foot's a little far back. Probably like a safe number to have in our mind is that we probably don't want this back foot going further than like 45 degrees off target of where you're trying to go. And this looks a bit further back than that, right? It helps keep our hips from being too locked out of the shots and us having to rotate. So there's like, you are doing some interesting stuff. With your upper body, and it's just because I think of setup here, because you're a bit too staggered out this way, it's causing you to rotate. You see this whole, so check out your upper body unit here and watch how it kind of all ticks forward together here, and you can tell the right hand's going with it as well, and that's mostly because of setup stuff. So let's work through this real quick. All right. So if we're going through, if we get this hip too far back here, then what's going to happen is, in order to get back to our line, we can't bring our arms straight through here, right? Because we hit so off target. Let me find out. So if I'm at you guys, what's the best angle to show you this? So I'm going to go this way. So if I'm back here, if I get too backwards, the disc is behind me now, right? I've got two options. Either I can come out. So this is like the side-on position. Either I can come out super early and do correct form and slide everything forward here correctly, or I can actually try to hit my line here, which will pull me. I have to rotate some with this left side to pull me back targetward, right? So that's kind of inhibiting your. It's inhibiting your ability to like truly not early rotate or like rotate the shoulders too much. So that's why we want to make sure that this step here, we want to keep the pressure towards the toe, the left toe here, and forward, and we want to keep the hip more or less forward. So that would be your left hip, my right hip. I can do this as a lefty if that's better for you. So here, and then, sorry, I'm going to keep it on my right toe as a lefty. So I need the pressure to be on my right toe here and not settle into this heel, which is easier to do. It's easier to settle into the heel and do the wrong thing if we get this too far backwards, right? Or at the very least, it's easy to get flat-footed, right? So sometimes focusing on the pressure being on this right toe is easier to keep you from going too far back in that X step. So now from here, you can take your right butt cheek and show it to the target, but the pressure's still on my right toe here. And if we don't get too turned around backwards, it makes it way easier to go from here and slide both of these arms forward. Oh, sorry. I'm not like planted yet. Let me make sure I can show that. I don't do this lefty much. Right, so these arms from this back view, instead of pulling this right arm around this way and swing it this way, you can actually more or less swing it forward and pin it with this right leg. I do feel the pressure on my toe, but I'm turning my foot way far back like you're saying. Yeah, it's definitely far back. I just can't tell if the pressure is in the right place or like if you're on that foot or not. Sometimes it's helpful for people to think about the pressure. If they get the pressure in the right place, it helps them get aligned during the X step. Other times it doesn't. You just have to work on making sure that this foot doesn't get too far back here. So you should be kind of in this position. Right. And that will let you slide these forward instead of around. So that would be the next big thing. Where's Dakota going? Oh, did they both leave?
Guys? Yeah, because that foot's so far backwards. Your stride is so over here, so it puts the disc so far behind you. Makes you round, basically, because there's not a path into the pocket for it. Should you shorten your plant step? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Because you're still going to be going the wrong direction with your plant because of how far back this is. You should just fix this. If you fix this up, if you get the X step going here, your plant foot's going to go over here. Which means that your body's going to be out of the way of the disc. So I would totally focus on this step here. I saw a video about brace that it's easier to do a little jump in the X step to make the brace. What do you think about that? I think crow hops are great if you can do them well. Okay, so let's see. Jehood the goat. I need to find his. Oh. Wait, did Mikey already add it? He did. What would you tell someone who constantly complains about distance but does not want to change the thing about his form? Because I want to fight my friend. You don't tell those people anything. You just start throwing further than them. And then eventually they get frustrated enough to change their form, or they quit. Change or die. Yo, did you guys bounce, Mikey? You and Dakota? Yeah, I mean, similarly here, I would look at this back foot here. See, it's probably a little too far back. The pressure's not up towards the toe enough. And so you've got this kind of flaring out of the feet. And this, because of where your pressure is at on your feet, you can't really set up to brace well against this front foot. The foot being kind of like flared open like that makes it tough, even if we look at like Simon. Who's more open than most here. You see how his foot's not pointing forward at all, right? This makes it tough to truly brace against this. And then the other thing is, so, okay, let me just demonstrate. Why draw on a screen when you can just demonstrate? So we need to come through with our pressure on the toe here. And be in this position. You should be able to basically have your heel off the ground. Although tougher to see in grass. But the more like forward this knee is, the harder it is to actually like be in a brace position, right? It's much easier to be braced against it if the knee's like a little bit back. Now there are varying degrees of this depending on the pro. Like if we pull Simon and Drew up against each other, you see Drew's like crazy far back.
and Simon's like almost just sideways with it, right? But to come in off of this toe allows us to get kind of in this position where the knees are a little bit more in towards each other, and you can push against this. There's like the ability to actually brace. So, and if you don't get there posture wise, if you don't have like your posture towards your left toe here, and you're hanging back, you're going to spin out a little bit more easily than if you're over your toe. So we want to make sure over the left toe and have this knee back a little bit here so that you can really resist that forward movement. So, and I think the direction of this back foot needs to be a little more forward. It doesn't have to be like directly forward. Sorry, this camera's over here, so I'm like a little bit off angle-wise from you guys. Here we go. It doesn't need to be like perpendicular to the target. You can go a little bit back of that, but you don't want it too far back because now you have to, again, come around your body and you have to start spinning things, and it's much harder to brace if you go and spin into it like that versus if you just come in purely laterally with kind of that knee a little bit back. So that setup's hurting you, and it's hurting your upper body's ability to get into the pocket as well. Because if you're spinning now, you've got this hole. You're just throwing from the left side. So work on this cross step here on the toe and not so far back. And now when you go to plant, you actually have something solid to plant into, as well as your body's out of the way. So the disc can get into the pocket uninhibited.
Yeah, I mean, you have to move slow until the form's there. Is there such thing as too much briefcase? Probably. I mean, James Proctor is very briefcased, like the briefcasiest. First one down. Not looking good for the rest of the thing. Who is this person? Oh, literally G. Okay, who else said that they are here? Let me look at these. Hello, Dirk. I checked in on Discord. I think. What's your Discord name? Le quoi? Okay, I've got you. The circle of loading. Yes. Yeah, there's a Patreon tier. It's the intermediate tier. It's $15. And then there are instructions inside of Patreon/Discord. And you just follow the instructions. The net. The Squatch bag. Woo! Use code overthrow at checkout for free shipping. Interesting. So this is okay, so this is slightly different because the setup here, I mean, it's the same problem. It's the same going back in the X step, causing the same issues. But yours actually starts a bit earlier. So this foot actually needs to be flared out a bit, probably. Because you're already starting a big rotation here, and it's really easy. You see how you get, like, look how in your feet are towards one another. So, this, holy cow, that was loud. But how turned back you already are before the X makes it really easy to turn back during the X, right here. But it's I would definitely work on the direction of this first step, even eliminate it for a little bit. So let me get lined up with you guys. So this first step needs to be forward, but it needs to be flared a little bit. Right now, it's just like forward here, which makes you have to get all the way from here to this side on position, and you have to do a big turn here to get from where you were at. So if I start going this way, to get from here, you have to make a huge turn to get side on, and now you're just like got all this momentum already kind of trying to turn you backwards. Instead, we want just this forward step here with a little bit of flare, and then we're just going to step this way, boom, and now it's just your left hip kind of targetward here. Right? But you don't have to get so I would probably actually start just here, just side on, so you can learn between this step. I would actually work it backwards. So I'd work from this step, pre-cross step, and we're side on to the target here. And then side step, the hips forward. Cross step, and the hips still quite a bit forward. And then we turn. But all the steps are very forward oriented. You shouldn't feel like your hips are doing big swings here. It's just flare, and we're just kind of gliding forward here. So you shouldn't feel like here, and we're doing twists and untwists. Really, it's just forward step, forward step, forward step. And then we turn our butt targetward during this last step. So I would just practice probably side on here and just get this feeling of going into these first two steps sideways and then turn. And then you can add the flare step and build off of that. Okay, I'm just trying to get locked into this kind of
moving sideways targetward. Is this causing a lot of my grip? Yeah, because once you get behind you like this, so if you go, I'm going to walk away from the camera here. Here, right, even without a backswing, you can see that the disc is going to come behind me like this, and once you get here, it's game over because there's no direct path between or for the disc to go to your line. It's got to go around your body, right? And now you've got this outward arcing swing path like this, which means, like, when's this thing going to hit? Right? Versus if we can stay very linear. Okay, let me think. I am lefty. Here, here, here. And now you can track the space from the disc to my line. And it's free to, sorry, wait, shift. Here we go. It's free to move through here. So now it's going to go somewhere on this line. Might be a little left or a little right, but it's much more linear that way. Well, you might be doing well. Depends on how long you've been playing and how long you've been working on this. Well is relative to a lot of things. Well, it's tough to talk about upper body until the lower body's fixed. It doesn't, I mean, this position here
Doesn't look that bad, right? So once you clean up the lower body, like, it's just going to be better. The upper body is actually pretty decent. If you join the advanced tier for private lessons, do you still get the monthly form review? No. We go over form stuff during the lesson. Can you explain throwing out a bit more? Throwing out is from here, when your arm extends out away from your body. That's throwing out. Who else is here? Yeah, when you go to throw out, so we're braced and we're ready to go. Dirk, what is your Discord name? But when you go to throw out, and you extend over here, then the disc works around your grip and corrects a little bit to the right. What's happening? I think you're coming from that direction. Dakota is the man. He is the shopkeeper.
Can't help you guys, but I can help myself. He is super on his left toe, isn't he? Yeah. This is interesting. Continue going. Whoa. Let me see. I see. So like you can release the foot here and allow it to come around your like right foot. You can release the toes and let a full pivot happen for the sake of your knee. I'll see there's some interesting timing going on with the arms here. So the left hand is coming in super early. It does a good job of hanging back with the left leg. Yeah, but the left hand's a bit early, I think. So let me see here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That. Okay, so this left hand, so order of operations here. So we're on our toes here. Let me go everything back, and now your heel hits, and then the hands start moving forward. Right now you're kind of like here, and your right arm is not working in unison like with your left. Let me show. Actually, this is probably easier to show with these guys. Probably better to show with these guys. That's not gonna work, actually. So your left hand is like done. It's like down at this, like at the exact same time that like your heel is down. And then your right arm is going. Let me pull you up here. They're back. So we've got left hand slap, and then then right heel down, and then right arm move. All right, so your left arm is actually just kind of stuck. You see the gap here. Right. So there's a little bit of this timing. The left hand moves a little bit for him, but you can see that it's not like left hand is done doing anything really. It goes boom. The heel's down and the left arm is moving in, and now the right arm's moving in. Right, and now it's tight. So we talk about basically the hands moving in together and like the hands being tight at the same time. And that's here, right? That's this kind of moment that we're looking for here is we want this right arm to be, forward deep in the pocket, and you can actually see like how his elbow is outside the frame of his body by this point, and his left arm is tight. So essentially you need to be, iPad.
Let's try that again. Here. Whoop, whoop. All right. He's there, deep pocket, and this arm is tight. Right, so by the time your arm is tight, the right arm's like really far back behind it. Right. Let's look at Simon, see if this case study holds true here. Yep. Closing the gap, and then boom, tight together. Right, very similar position. The arm is getting totally tight into the body by the time you're there. So what we're looking for is
we're settling into this heel, right heel, and there's a little bit of move with my left arm here, right? But it's just kind of all in transit to this position here. So deep in the pocket here. So this is kind of that tight position for both arms right here.
so. I'd work towards those timing pieces. You guys probably don't want to hear that. Or maybe you do. Yes, sir. wish my form dissecting skills were better. Ligma. That's in our Patreon, and you would be looking at the intermediate tier. Okay, who's next? Before I start just mowing through in order. What are you doing? You're out and about. I don't think I've seen any of these other people on. Let's start going. So I'm gonna pull this keyboard over here. Move that back. Here we go. This is the setup right here. I think I clicked off. Okay, maybe this isn't the setup right here. What? For the nice. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. The setup's nice. There is some interesting stuff happening here. And you're like holding on to the very edge of the disc, right? That thing is moving. Okay. So let's look at how the how the hand interacts with the disc. Bling. So it looks like you're gripping like very close to the edge. There are some people that hold closer to the edge than others. And there are some people who do this and will like press really down with their thumb and have like this gap even here. And they find that that helps them with nose angle. I'm going to recommend you not do that currently. And try to get more of a secure grip on this disc. And try experimenting with putting your thumb a little further in, because it just seems like there's a little too much going on here. We want fingers to be hooked in more or less diagonally. It doesn't need to be a power grip like this. It can be a fan grip like this, or some other alteration, but we don't want like this, for example. We don't want to monkey paw it and have that. So just check your grip and make sure that we're doing something that's got like fingers coming in diagonally in some shape or form. And we just don't want this thing like freely moving throughout the throw as well. So that's the first thing. Second thing, we want our wrist to be curled a little bit, at least in the pocket, right? So I find it, if you're struggling with this, probably just beneficial to start with it bent back here. It doesn't have to be bent like this. It can be bent and kind of flat, or it can be a little bit vertical like this. I'd probably stay away from this, but the wrist, maybe just try keeping it a little bit bent back here, and then
we curl the disc in on ourselves. It's very important that happens. So you see in this position here, where you're like this and you're on the front of the disc in the pocket and your elbow's back over here, right? If we can curl this in on ourselves, this is where kind of that whip effect that people talk about comes from, is we curl in on ourselves and then it wants to naturally uncurl. So if you can focus on curling in on yourself here, it doesn't have to be like touching your forearm and like this, but curl in a bit on yourself here. It's going to keep your elbow away. It's going to keep the disc on the inside. Now you can actually have a lot more spin and speed coming out because of it. No, that was this. Colby, he doesn't understand. He heard this, like me popping the disc, like a heartbeat, and he thought someone was knocking on the door. And he barked at them. But they're not there. And I just looked like they were there. What is happening? So curl it in here. And then what happens is, as it goes to uncurl, and we go into this hit, this thing wants to keep moving even kind of when our hand slows down a little bit. But when we go to extend our arm, we're still in a semi-curled position like with our wrist. It doesn't like open up and pop here. It definitely doesn't pop like that. But when you hit, then the disc wants to keep going, and that's where you get all the rip. But if your hand is on the front of the disc like this, and you go to that point, there's no unfurling, there's no whip. It's like if you drag a whip straight forward, and you just pulled on the front of the whip like this, and you just literally dragged it, there would be no snap, right? Or it would be super minimal. So we need to get curled in here, and then so that we can uncurl. And dude, once you do that, the rest of your form stuff is gonna, that's gonna change. That's gonna revolutionize your game right there. So Eli is asking, is the wrist curl a preference thing? Yeah, it's not a preference thing inside the pocket, right? You want a little bit of curl. You don't want to be like straight wristed in the pocket. You don't want to be on the front of the disc like this. Hello? It's nothing. You know, sometimes you feel like something flies in your ear. So you don't want like this because there's going to be no spin generated, right? And you can look at Drew, and Drew's more on the front of the disc than Simon is, right? And Simon has a lot more spin, and Drew's got like crazy speed. So the more curled you get, kind of the more, this is kind of a working theory. The more curl you get, the more spin you get at the hit. And the less curl, you could probably get more speed, but you would definitely give up spin. But yeah, you need some curl so you can hit this like pivot point out there, and that's where the money's at right there. It's when the thing rips out of your hand. What am I doing? You think they're playing disc golf without me?
Hey, they sell disc golf stuff. Okay. So going over the prep, he's trying to, his hands are here. You can see that he's trying to prep to get his like hands towards the back of the disc a little bit. Which I like. Something that people do in this kind of prep position as well, prep position, is they kind of squat into their toes a little bit too sometimes. So if you're working on stuff, it's not a bad thing to think about if you struggle with that. Yeah, because do a good job of staying on the left toe, but the body's a bit upright. You see this swing during the walk up? If someone takes this first step, where do you expect their walk up to go? Everything's going to glide this way, right? But the next step, watch what happens. It goes back off the line here. You see that? So now where's his momentum going? Where's his walk-up line going? Right? And the reason that that's happening in part, I think, is because of posture. So we want to get over the toes here. That will allow us to kind of glide in one direction. One direction. Okay, let's look at some stuff here. Yeah, we want to work on this position as well. So 2 things for you here to groove out. We want to work from back here, we want to work on getting into this pocketed position, which is a bit different than this pocketed position where the elbow's low and tight to the body. Right, so this versus this. Because what's happening out of here is now when you go to extend, you're going to kind of flip your palm down like this and throw nose up. Plus, it's just not like efficient biomechanically. Watch here. Dook, dook, dook. So, first things first is when you're setting up here and you're getting squared away, which I like, this right here, this little like bounce. I think if you watch like Sayananda, and well, there are a handful of people who do this, but I am pretty sure that she does this as well, where you'll see them, you'll see people prep, and then they'll go like, shunk. They're kind of like, you kind of stick your booty out, right? So you stick that butt out, and now you're towards the toes here. Right, so adding that makes it much easier to walk on this straight line here when you're in this kind of booty out position. But if you're upright and you're here, it's much easier upright to fall back off of your line this direction, right? So stick your butt out, get your knees bent, and then do this. And then also working on this position here. The hands come in together here. And that's going to have the elbow up a little bit more.
We sell disc golf. You can buy disc golf there. Does Overthrow have a podcast? Overthrow has a podcast episode recorded. Mikey will be editing it, and it will be going up on Monday. And I will not tell you who the guest is, but we got some cool guests lined up. So, and the first one's great. I love the first one. Hopefully, you guys do too. I just kind of chat, and we just meander through topics. No script per se. Yeah, we talked for 2 hours. And the Patreon only segment was, I think we started that segment like an hour and 20 or an hour and a half in. So, but that's before Mikey edits it down. It's gonna be pretty long. It's for people who are gonna really want to get into it. We just talk until there's nothing more to talk about. I thought, okay, maybe we should cut it off at 45 minutes. And then we got to the 45-minute mark, and I looked, and I was like, dude, we're not even close to touching everything we want to talk about. I'm sure. Me and some of these other coaches, man, we just chat. So the podcast is bringing you guys into those conversations. Okay. Onward. Yeah, if you don't want the long version, just follow us on Instagram and you'll get the clips. Or I'm sure there'll be shorts as well. Yeah, I'm going to have coaches and players on there, and we're going to get nitty-gritty with coaching, students. This one we talk about my putting problems. Such a coach this other person was. But yeah. I hope you guys like it. If not, we're probably still going to keep doing it because it's fun. Arm is itchy. I found a tick on me here a couple days ago, 2 days ago. So now, I'm always feeling what is that itch? Is it a tick? What am I doing here? I'm doing... You got me monologuing. I can't believe it. You got me monologuing. Such a great movie. Okay. Yeah. X step needs a little bit of help. So we see this first step. So again, if we see this first step like this, we're kind of expecting this, right? But what we end up getting is, come on, give me the line. What we end up getting is more like this, and then this. See?
So, and this is inhibiting the amount of coil that he can get, right? Because he can't coil too much or the disc gets back behind him here, right? And then he has to rotate with the shoulders to get it back online and all that stuff. So we really need to address this. It would actually, if you've got this setup here, it'd actually be good to use this little crack you have on the ground. And just generally follow that. Bloop. And so your foot should probably end up being like here, just on the other side of this crack. So you've got a whole like extra foot or so that it is to this side. If we want to get like nerdy with the numbers, what we probably want is for this stagger to be around 20 degrees, right? So there's been some discussion recently. I know Yanni put up a video where he's talking about walking up straight, and he got some flack for it, unrightfully so. But, you know, it's the internet, so people are going to get mad. But yeah, you do basically walk straight forward. I'm not telling you put both your feet on this line, but if we're looking, okay, what's kind of 20 degrees here? Maybe like that. Not like this. Off the line, you know. So we got to look at the we've got to look at the X step. We need to go, if we're going this way, sorry, I'll scroll up to the camera a little bit more. Right step towards the target, which you did well. Left step towards the target. This needs to be towards the toes here, so you're going here in your right toe now. Now we go left toe. And the hip, the right hip is forward here, right? So this foot can be, it's not going to be like perpendicular probably, but we don't want it going more than like 45 degrees back, right? So what happens is you got like this foot going 45 degrees back means you have like a 45 degree stagger is what you're kind of doing here. So instead we want here, and the foot goes back a little bit, but not so much, right? So again, not here, not turning things back yet. We save the turning for the last step. So here, not really turning. Since we're crossing, there's going to be a little bit of turn. Like when you walk, right, your hips turn a little bit, but it's not like you're thinking about your hips going this when you walk. So, but right here. So we basically just cross behind, no turning. And now we turn our butt towards the target, which will give us a little bit of a stagger, right? So we're here. Boom. No turning. And now we turn the butt towards the target, which gets us about 20-ish degrees of stagger. I would have to see the shot to know. And if you put the shot in Discord with a timestamp or something, we can look at it. So.
And there are guys who like get more backwards. Like Thomas Gilbert gets more backwards than basically everyone. But
he also is more open at the hit than basically everyone. So it's like he's probably not out of the range, but could be. I'm gonna need tissue in a second. Oops. At first I thought they said called game. And now I'm very confused. Called what? Someone help me. I know that's not a cursive G. Right, but what is happening underneath here? I'm going to say it. I'm glad they don't teach cursive in schools anymore. Also going to say it. I hate seeing elbow sleeves. It like hurts my heart. I hope that's preventative. Yeah. Here's another one where the over stagger is hurting the upper body here. I'm not sure where is the hole. It must be left. But here you've got like two distinct walk-up lines. Bloop. So we're walking up here. What do I want to do? I want to zoom in and then move it up. Cool. So to start up, we're walking up like here. And now we're going to walk here. And then we're going to stagger again. So it's a little bit of like Frankenstein's monster here. See the direction change? So now when he plants over here, he has to rotate his body around here so that he doesn't hit this tree right here. So his walk up for this shot should probably be, I'm assuming the basket is like over here. So the walk up for this shot should be somewhere along probably here the whole time. Yeah, I love seeing course stuff like this. I wish I knew where the basket was at. But these are my favorite type of form reviews, actually. So if you're like thinking about form reviews in reference to like, okay, what's happening on this hole, right? Because it's easy to do the form out in a field and have it do the right things. And then when you go to a course, your walk-up angle can be scuffed. Right, but what we see happening here is that he gets trapped on this back shoulder, right, which is a very natural consequence when this X step gets turned too far back. So, for example, if I'm trying to throw it to you guys, and I walk this way, I've got no choice but to bring the disc around my body at least a little bit before extending out. Right, so the rule of thumb here is to walk up on the line that you're trying to hit. So I'm going to try to hit this line here, and this is why they start at the end and then they work their way back, right? Because they're trying to walk up on that line. And this X step goes forward on that line. Right. So the equivalent of what he's doing right now would be if he was trying to walk up on this line, instead of having this X go towards you guys, he's walking, he's actually walking up this way off of the line, and then he pulls the X step towards the line, and then he staggers back out across the line again. Right. So it makes it super hard for you to get. Like his practice, he could look like this, form-wise in practice. You go here, and you go. And he could look like this. He could, like perfectly in the pocket, and the left hand's tight. Both arms are tight. But it's like impossible for him to do that if he walks across the line. Like the second you walk across the line, you no longer go like this. And you can't get, like you literally can't get in the pocket. You go here, and now you got to go and pull it around. And now you've got this whole over-rotation back shoulder dealio. So, which is not the way. So, you can kind of look at this like, what do you fix? Do you fix the walk-up direction, or do you fix other form stuff? I think if you're looking in context of a course, walk-up direction is super important to being able to implement proper form. So that's why I addressed it that way instead of fixing like form. What people consider as form, right? Oh, I didn't grab that tissue. Let me grab it. I'm going to leave you guys here for a second.
We live? What's up, everybody?
Just played some disc golf. What did I just do?
We did play disc golf.
Yeah, we went and played disc golf.
We did.
You played Timbrook without me with the
Yeah.
new pads.
We did.
Yeah.
The teams are nice.
Yeah, we just left you. Just like pretty much not really important anymore. Until you become more positive.
Josh doesn't want to play the new pads.
Until your heart changes, we've decided to keep playing without your heart.
Who's the mean one now?
Yeah, you have to compliment him now. Give him a compliment before you leave.
No. See, I need to be less positive. He needs to be less. I need to be more negative.
And I'm just gonna be in the middle.
In the middle ground.
You guys are both fine.
I was looking for my iPad, which does not live here right now.
Oh, I should get that out. Yeah, she's got that. Well, no, because your Wi-Fi.
His drive on the second hole. Wait, do you have a Oh yeah. Also, be warned. I don't know if this is going to send volume to you guys or not. Oh, it didn't even take me to the correct link. Try again. Okay. I cannot mute this from my iPad for some reason. Hello? So, or else I would. So you're gonna get some like grainy stuff here. Let's see where this kid's walking up. Oh yeah. Okay. What do I want to do? Sorry. The audio is going to be super janky because I'm going to slow-mo it. So you're going to get that. Yeah, so it looks like... Oh, yeah. You see the direction that the thing went? Yeah, that nobody does that. Yeah, nobody does that. That's not normal. That is not normal. That's not something you probably want to copy. That guy went. You can stay there if you want. It's fine, Rayla. Sorry. So that guy was throwing through the door, and he gets set up here, and the disc is trapped behind him. Then he's got a move that pulls it here, and then here. So he goes behind him. And then because he staggers so much, he has to bring it out here, and then he goes. He's got a two-parter. That's like it's like what my putt looks like. And you know, I can hear them now. I can hear them. I can hear the people now that are like, see? This just proves it. And I know that this isn't you, Marty. But, see? Form doesn't matter. It's all just, you just need to get out there and throw the disc and throw it as hard and fast as you can, and you'll be good. Right? They're wrong. That doesn't work for lots of people. He started throwing a disc when he was like 10 or something. I'm trying to remember that info from the podcast. But yeah. You guys go ahead and go out there and try that and see if it works. But yeah, that's not normal. Okay, let me see. I wonder. That was on Central Coast, yeah? Hmm. Yeah, so the feel here. Man, I need to. I gotta text someone right now. Before I forget. Sorry. Okay, I'll do it after this. I'm gonna do it after this. I'm gonna remember. You guys remind me to text Ian after this. Yeah, so here's a the issues in disc golf are not that wide. Here's another example. X step too far back. And then watch. I want you guys to get a feel for this look, or I want you kind of to catch like the coach's eye on this. Watch how this feels. Hopefully that makes sense in a second. Watch how spinny aroundy this is. Right? Just track like the left arm, for example. Watch. It's just going to spin around and keep spinning around. Watch the head this time. Right? Watch this. How it's just kind of like, okay, we're going to spin forward now. And this is really important to do this kind of work on your own, to get this kind of visualization on your own. Watch Simon here. Like, does his left arm feel spinny? Does it feel like this? Does it feel the same when you look at it? It feels very like forward and then it stops. What about his head? It's kind of here. Right? It just kind of stays. It's not spinning. Whoa, that's a square. A rectangle, technically. It's not like, okay, now we're opening forward. Right? Check out his right arm. It's very forward. Right, so this is where, whoops, I meant to do demonstration. This is where the ideas of, pulling a straight line or break down the door. This is where those ideas have, a lot of merit. It is a very linear move. All right, so you do rotate back, right? But that's basically this right arm, it almost slides back, right? And then you plant and you're on the heel here, and now it's going to slide forward, right? Because it's sliding forward like that, there's no need to have this, right? Once we start doing this, it starts coming out and around like this, right? It's very spinny, right? That's not what we're doing here. It's here. Everything starts sliding forward, and we've got this arc in there for sure. We've got this out and out. That's still prevalent, right? But it's not like everything is going forward, just like spinning like this. So with that being said, what do you need to work on in your form? Mikey P. So with that, there's no need to go back during this cross step, right? It's all forward. It's all forward and backwards. Everything is forward and backwards. It's not really, but start getting your mind around that feel of, okay, forward, I'm stopping here on this front foot, and now everything during this backward swing here is in forward. Everything's going forward ahead of us. And that will help you not get in this position that we see here, because this is happening because if you just continue to go forward, your elbow is going to stay tight to your body forever. Here. So you need to practice going from here to here. Sliding your right hand forward into your chest. Left hand forward, kind of pinned with your left leg. This is the practice, right? And you're going to have to practice this position over and over and over again until you do it. But also, the visualization is very important. So if I were seeing you in person and I saw that, I would explain all those things in person and try to kind of wrap your mind around the macro, which is why I did it here. Oh, you guys were supposed to remind me. What's that? Zoo down. Okay. Hacha.
Yep. Nice. There's a lot of really good stuff happening here with the lower body. What you need to let happen is you need to let these shoulders rotate back a little bit more. You see how you're kind of pinching off your shoulder already? Let those shoulders continue going back. Because even before you start your forward swing here, your pocket's already tight. Like it's already pinched here. There's some fancy term, abducting or something like that. Yeah. Just let your shoulder swing back a little bit more. So you're here. You're going here with your forward pump, and then let this shoulder keep going back so that you continue to create space in your chest back here so you're not tight like this. So we need to let the chest go back, right? And let the shoulder stay out like that instead of being pinched back here. And then from here, like shrugging. So instead, get that shoulder back. And then after your brace, you can pull the hands in here instead of kind of pulling the shoulder around like this. So shoulders here. And you can keep the shoulder kind of out away instead of like shrugged up tight like this. Right? So some people find it useful to really like push that out. And I've actually found some use in that recently as well. Just like keeping it away there. It's also been one of those things, it's like kind of annoying that it just kind of keeps slipping in my form. It's not necessarily like the hardest fix, it's just like one of those annoying ones for me. You leave it unattended for too long and it slips back. Hiya. This setup always scares me when I see it, where the wrist is like here. Scary is like too strong of a word, obviously, but I always wonder what, like, if you're gonna be in that position later. Collapse pocket here. Yeah, you have to really, so here, you have to maintain this shape that you have with your arms here. like this. Because you got very little shoulder coil here. Okay. So this kind of boxy, spacey position that you have going on here in the beginning is great. I don't like to see the wrist like flared out at all, like maybe neutral or in, just because I think it saves you from potential problems down the road. But this space that you're maintaining, you need to keep this space in this feeling here of like your shoulder and all that. You need to keep this feeling during your backswing, whether this arm straightens out or not during the backswing. So just watch this kind of unit here. And then from this angle, maintaining all this space away so that we can come back into that space later. So it's this shoulder, when we rotate these shoulders back, I don't want to say necessarily like push the right shoulder back, because I don't want you having like this idea on the backswing. That would be like really weird. Don't do that. But so don't push it like that. But when we go to push our right shoulder back here, well, that's what you're missing basically. Is you're here and you go, and you don't turn your unit back, right? You don't turn your torso back when you're here, right? So, which is kind of affecting the rest of the throw. So it'd almost be better if instead of having the disc go back at all, like if you just did, if you just weren't going to coil, then it'd be better to just throw from there than to have the disc move back and collapse your pocket, right? So we've got to protect this space that we have with our chest here. Basically, we'd never want to go like back on this side of a 90-degree angle, right? So we want it wide. It doesn't need to stay at 90 the whole time, and it's not going to stay at 90 the whole time. It's going to be wider than that, but you got to protect that space in the pocket. And there's a video I'm going to try to find it real quick. I don't know how I'm going to find it. Let me see. How do I find it? Oh. Okay. Did I find it? Oh, I did. It's not the best way to do this. Watch how he kind of protects this space as he goes through. Watch again. This is worth like watching a couple times, I think, for you and for me. But watch this space. Here it is. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's good research there. All right, guys. Well, bam. Okay, I need to change. Oh, well, I should do that while I'm here. Well, that was it. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Okay, now there are only 4 reactors left. So, if you're looking for, if you haven't tried, if you don't have a disc like this in your bag, you really should find something like this. Doesn't have to be this, obviously. You can put whatever you want in your bag. But I will tell you, there are a couple holes that having a mid that doesn't glide as well as, or it doesn't glide as much as a like a Buzz, a Hex, or a Pathfinder, or whatever. You know, a glidey straight mid. Like, this is a straight mid, but it's got no glide. It's just made it incredibly easy to get some of these holes. I mean, I really throw it on. I gotta go through all the holes. 6, 12. I should try it on that hole now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, 3 new holes that it's like, now I just park the shots. Because I was like in between something faster or something slower with lots of glide. It's like, no, I can just hit this thing at 70% power and the glide helps. You just need to find a disc and experiment. If you're throwing a Buzz or a Hex or a Pathfinder on this hole, you need to try to throw those same holes with a straight disc with less glide. See what happens. You might like the results. You'll at least learn something. Cool. All right, guys. I'm peacing out. Catch you guys next time. The next form review is, let me check my calendar, is on the 28th of this month. That is a Wednesday. So if you're interested in having your form reviewed, then you need to be in, you need to be a patron, and your form needs to be in before the 28th. So that would be no later than the night of the 27th. You guys are the best. Peace.